Well, from wherever you're watching us in Kenya and around the world, you are in time for KBC Prime Edition, coming to you live from Broadcasting House right here in the capital city of Nairobi, Kenya. Good evening. I am Mboya. Tonight, live in studio, we are hosting the Vice Chancellor of the Open University of Kenya, Professor Elijah Omwenga, and we will be looking at the dynamics in education. You don't want to miss that coming at the tail end of this live broadcast. But first things first, I look at our top stories tonight. Ties that bind. Kenya and Poland sign agreements on mutual areas of cooperation. Forsake as not. Victims of the deadly Embakasi gas explosion call on leaders to keep their promises as the impact of the tragedy continues to be felt. Taming gender-based violence. Rights groups call for concerted efforts to end the vicious cycle. Lensa Odingo is in charge of our sign language docket, our socials at KBC Channel 1. Let's begin this live broadcast with our lead story. President William Ruto says that Kenya and Poland are committed to enhancing cooperation in trade, agriculture, and environment. President Ruto spoke at State House Nairobi when he hosted President Andrzej Duda of Poland, who's in the country for a two-day state visit. Kamche Meza opens our coverage with that report.
President William Ruto on Monday hosted Polish President Andrzej Duda in a historic visit aimed at strengthening relations between the two governments. President Duda was honored with a customary 21-gun salute. He later inspected the Guard of Honor. During their talks, the two leaders signed two frameworks of cooperation to enhance collaboration in agriculture and rural development and tax solidarity program. Cooperation in trade, investment, food security, climate change, technology and labor mobility will also be enhanced.
I have informed my good brother, President Duda, of our capacities in green energy. I have informed him that 93% of our grid is green and we have huge potential. And Polish companies are invited to invest in their manufacturing capacities in Kenya using our green energy.
We also discussed modern tax policy, closing gaps in the public finance sector, in the tax sector. That is why the memorandum was signed on cooperation on tax solidarity.
In agriculture, President Ruto said Kenya is set to benefit in Poland's dam construction expertise.
I urge President Duda to partner with us through public-private and government-to-government partnerships to explore the vast market in the agricultural sector, particularly in post-harvest value addition, aiming to conclusively address food security.
Kenya is also set to benefit from more milk coolers.
We already have 350 milk cooling plants around Kenya, courtesy of a program between our two countries. And I am looking forward to the speedy conclusion of the other 650 milk coolers.
We're the biggest producers and exporters of, among others, powder milk. So having said that, we are able to share our vast expertise and experiences. We have those experiences spanning tens of years, dozens of years in terms of modern milk production.
President Ruto called on Polish investors to exploit investment opportunities in Kenya, given its strategic geographical advantage.
With Nairobi serving as the hub and gateway for their regional and continental investments, as a technology powerhouse, Kenya offers unrivaled opportunities.
The two countries also agreed on labor mobility that will open ways for Kenya's highly skilled labor to work in the foreign country.
We have abundant, highly skilled professional labor, and Poland is a labor deficit country, and therefore we can establish a win-win framework. We look forward to fast-tracking this.
They later held an economic forum for investors where they agreed on, among others, building the capacity of Kenyan youth through a skills development deal involving 15 Kenyan technical, vocational, educational and training TVET institutions.
We have increased our budget both for TVET and university education by an extra almost 50 billion from this year, because high quality labor, highly skilled professional labor is a critical component of that will drive industrialization and manufacturing.
President Duda jetted into the country on Sunday for a 2-day state visit en route to Rwanda and Tanzania. Kamchemenza for Prime Edition.
Now, victims of the deadly gas explosion in Embakasi say that they are still struggling to come to terms with the tragedy. A section of the victims who spoke to KBC Monday said that a lot could have been done to avert the crisis, even as they doubted the number of casualties of the deadly explosion. Meanwhile, the Independent Gas Dealers Association has urged the government to strictly enforce compliance with set regulations and safety standards by all petroleum and gas dealers.
Day 4 since the fateful Embakasi gas explosion. Residents say the trauma is still fresh in their minds.
Mi kwangu vitu mingi zimechomeka. Viti, kitanda, kila kitu. So hadi nilikuwa na hama. Nilikuwa natafuta mahali kwa kukaa. Nilikuwa nishalipa rent. Sasa hadi sina do. Pesa nilikuwa unajua kila mtu ana budget yake ya mwezi. So rent nilikuwa nimelipa, so ishapotea.
Some of the residents tell us that the tragedy may have taken many more lives than those reported.
Pepo nikajipeleka Mbakati hospital. Sijui huko wakaniacha huko. Pia zini ndiye nilichukua huko. Sijui huko jaienda huko. Sasa kutoka huko sina fare. Nilitoka nikaambiwa umekuwa toka.
Watu wengi wameumia, waache kutudanganya. Kuna watu wamekufa. Kitu ya tatu tena, msaada imetoka. Serikali katoa msaada. Lakini chakula imepelekwa Embakasi ward, social hall, na hapa ni utawala ward.
Lucy says she has had to foot her medical bills despite the announcement by the county government that it will be settled.
Nikapewa matibabu nikafungwa, and then kutoka hapo nikatumia 2500. Nikatolewa hapo tena kesho yake nikalipa 500.
The Independent Gas Dealers Association says it has made donations to the Red Cross to assist in the ongoing recovery efforts, even as the dealers urge the government to ensure stakeholders play by the books.
In addition, we are pledging immediately another 1.5 million to the victims to ensure food distribution, blankets, bed sheets, utensils, amongst others.
The charred debris is a stark reminder of the magnitude of the inferno that turned the skies red and left lives shattered 4 days ago. Locals here are urging the government and leaders to keep their word and help them pick up the pieces. For Prime Edition, Marvin Kaunda.
Femicide count: Kenya has recorded 14 femicide cases since January of 2024 and 152 killings in 2023, the highest ever over the past 5 years. In an interfaith round-table dialogue, faith-based actors have come out to castigate the incessant killings, calling on government to enforce laws and policies that respond to gender-based violence. Sarafina Robi with that report.
The Kenya Demographic and Health Survey indicates that over 40% of women have experienced physical or sexual intimate partner violence in their lifetime. To the chagrin of society, the statistics continue to rise each day, with 14 femicide cases already recorded since January 2024.
Recorded 58 deaths labeled as femicide between January and October 2022. In 2023, the organization recorded at least 152 killings, the highest in the past 5 years, and 14 cases have already been reported in January 2024 alone.
Faith-based actors are worried lot, saying religious spaces are no longer safe spaces.
Did a research in a number of countries, and I tell you, like Dr. Lydia have said, our religious spaces are no longer safe spaces because victims of rape, victims of brutality run to our religious spaces, and the first thing they are faced with is the question, how were you dressed? How is that your business? What makes you think that if a woman chooses to dress anyhow, it triggers the monster that is in you?
When did we normalize that killing women from time to time is okay? When did we normalize that lives of women are perpetually in danger in the hands of men?
The religious leaders want the government to tighten the noose on perpetrators of gender-based violence.
Whatever conviction terms are there are stringent enough, and I would not support the changing to any other lesser terms, because the terms were there to deter the public from perpetrating the sexual violence especially, but we can see it's still continuing.
We call on the government of Kenya to ensure progress towards implementation of the Sexual Offences Act 2016, the National Policy on Prevention and Response to Gender-Based Violence 2014 outcomes. We also call upon the government that for the enforcement of all laws and policies that respond to gender-based violence.
The group wants communities to sensitize girls and boys so that in their initiations they enhance peaceful coexistence. Serafina Robi for Prime Edition.
There's an item here on health. Now, the Health Cabinet Secretary, Susan Nakhumicha, says that the national government has lost 4.3 billion shillings under Edu Afya, which is managed by the National Health Insurance Fund, during a public participation forum on the new amendment bills under the Social Health Insurance Fund. In Makueni County, Nakhumicha urged leaders to adapt the amendments, terming them a new dawn in the health sector in the country. Tileo Marco reports. I'm told that report is coming a little later on, but let's now look at another item here where Makueni Governor Mutula Kilonzo Jr. says that he supports amendments and calls on the national government to source for more funds and cushion Kenyans who feel overburdened by the proposed medical scheme. That's
mnashika 4.3 billion. 4.3 billion inaweza jenga hospitali za level 3. Hospitali moja ya level 3 kujenga ni about 70 million on the higher side. Ikiwa fully equipped, 70. So you can imagine how many 4.3 billion, how many of those facilities it can build.
Personally, I have no issue paying, provided ile pesa ninalipa inahudumia watu 10, si ati iende kwa mfuko ya mtu. That has been the problem with NHIF.
Edu Afya pitfalls, of course, that's the same story that Health Cabinet Secretary Nakhumicha says that the national government is losing close to 4.3 billion shillings. Now, let's shift gears and move, take you to Kisumu, where Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Alliance leader Raila Odinga is saying that the greatest challenge to public service delivery in the country is poor planning. Raila says planning in major cities and towns in the country has been turned into a free-for-all affair, greatly hindering service delivery. The opposition leader argues that with proper planning and adherence to the law, as witnessed across other major cities in established economies, the Embakasi gas explosion tragedy would not have happened.
As the country continues to grapple with the aftermath of the Embakasi gas explosion tragedy, the opposition chief Raila Odinga is now blaming poor planning and lack of adherence to the law for the disaster.
Today, our greatest source of failure as a country It's not the lack of funds, personnel or knowledge. It is the lack of planning.
Are you doing a full shot? Don't do a
Our
full shot.
cities are clogged by traffic because we have created bus stages where they were not supposed to be. We have created markets where they were not supposed to be. Sewage systems are not working because we built on, clogged or broken them.
Raila said, unlike other established cities across the globe, where areas are zoned for specific functions, unscrupulous businessmen and government officials in Kenya are issuing licenses without due diligence and putting the lives of Kenyans at risk.
Currently, Nairobi is mourning its dead and treating hundreds of injured because the city ignored planning and allowed a gas filling plant where none was supposed to be.
Our intention within the next 3 years is to provide adequate road network to all these settlements that you call informal. Are we together? Even it means getting some more from our budget, but please, let us first of all, as a county, provide the services. And then people in their private capacity can build the homes. We too can come with affordable housing.
Raila also wants a strategic and deliberate approach in safeguarding water sources to help safeguard rivers and lakes in the region.
Also that the government can be called to account, not just in terms of the high cost of electricity, but also the high taxes for extraction of water, so that the people of Kenya can...
He spoke when he opened the new headquarters of Kisumu Water and Sewerage Company in Kisumu City. Achola Simon, Prime Edition, Kisumu County.
Well, that story brings us to the first break here on Prime Edition. When we come back, we dive deeper into the second part of this live broadcast. Remember, live in studio, Professor Elijah Omwenga, Vice Chancellor of the Open University of Kenya. We're going to be looking at the dynamics of education. What is the status of that university since inception? You don't want to miss that. Stay with us. We'll be back shortly.
Haya, sisi ya kungoja kwenye star 570 hash kuna ploti na ni up to 1.1 million Kenyan shillings with a genuine title deed na inakungoja star 570 hash ukana shake.
Welcome to Sensei Institute. Mahali skills zangu ni pesa mkononi. At Sensei College, practical skills is the definition. Accredited by the government and founded on a Christian background, Sensei College offers all-rounded programs that are tailor-made to enhance your skills and give you the future you desire. We offer courses such as interior design, fashion and design, hairdressing and beauty, hospitality courses, trailer driving and defensive driving, building construction technology, CCTV, solar and electrical installation, photography and video production, electronic courses, vehicle electronics and mechanic courses, agricultural mechanics, ICT, and many more. To enroll in any of our campuses in Nairobi and Nakuru, all you need is your national ID card. Mapema ndo best. Take advantage of our monthly intake. Come to kusort na skills. Sensei College, my skills, my future.
Across Africa, a new era has begun. Shifting our focus to a new horizon, connecting us with one purpose: to create and share opportunities to grow. Today, we are making a brighter tomorrow, built by our dreams and our energy. Across our continent, across the world, we are creating a better way to a better future. A Pan-African future, together. EcoBank. A better way, a better Africa.
KBC Channel 1 magazine programs strive to disseminate news and information.
Welcome to happening in the world of entertainment
and achievements of individuals navigating through life.
Be part of the intelligent conversation upon KBC Channel 1.
Related to the interest of Kenyan public on various subjects of national importance.
Keeping you up to date with the latest tech news,
challenges, and remarkable stories of individuals with disabilities.
And you have a say.
Our magazine programs empower communities with words for conversations and a common language to approach the world.
For your infotainment needs, we have a great range of programs.
Welcome back to Prime Edition, our socials at KBC Channel 1. Now, Chief Justice Martha Koome has called for collaboration between government agencies and stakeholders in a bid to resolve land disputes and weed out cases of land fraud in this great nation of Kenya. The Chief Justice spoke while commissioning a multi-sectoral group aimed at resolving land cases in Nairobi County, dubbed Nairobi Land Justice Working Group. Among the problems identified in the land acquisition subsector include double allocation, an old one, and renewal of leases.
Chief Justice Martha Koome on Monday unveiled a multi-sectoral team dubbed Nairobi Land Justice Working Group with the sole mandate of resolving land cases in Nairobi County. The team consists of judges from the Environment and Lands Court, representatives from the Directorate of Criminal Investigations, Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, the Attorney General's Office, and the clergy, among others. The move comes against the backdrop of myriad cases of land disputes, the reason being the Krima land ownership saga involving a 1,000-acre parcel of land in Njiro Embakasi East.
I think we are moving in the right direction, and we are going to figure it out, and we are going to get it right.
The Chief Justice called for collaboration between government agencies and stakeholders to weed out the deep-rooted vice and expedite delivery of justice on land cases.
When it comes to land, I think we have to be firm and do what has to be done at all the agencies, Lands Office, DCI, and all the actors as we have seen in the skit. We must do what we have to do.
According to the Chief Justice, double allocation of land is the most notorious challenge.
This land question is even more acute in Nairobi with the myriad of problems that we have been told which occur in the 4 zonal areas, and they span a wide range, including double allocation.
Lands Cabinet Secretary Alice Wahome listed numerous cases of land fraud in Nairobi, warning the cartels that their days are numbered.
Has seen these cases. The judges every day are dealing with 2-3 titles regarding one land. The truth is, there can only be one genuine title to that parcel.
The CS, you must do what you have to do, what the law tells you to do. Do not worry that people will come to court because you have done your work.
The multi-sectoral team will also be required to formulate guidelines to be implemented and recommend appropriate interventions. Earlier, the Chief Justice had presided over the swearing-in of Justice Fatuma Sichale as a representative of the Court of Appeal in the Judicial Service Commission after the term of Justice Mohamed Warsame ended. The commissioning of the Nairobi Land Justice Working Group now sets in motion for the attainment of the much-delayed justice to the victims of land fraud in Nairobi County. Giverson Mana, Prime Edition at the Milimani Law Courts, Nairobi.
Now, he was a technocrat who left a rich, extensive and successful career in the civil service to join politics, becoming one of President Daniel Toroitich arap Moi's trusted and loyal cabinet ministers. On the cabinet this week, we focus on John Musembi Chalo, who served as a Minister for Health in President Mboya's administration.
Health, however, Kiala lost his voice and was diagnosed with throat cancer, which led to his death in 1995. Jackie Wambiru, The Cabinet.
Shambani mbili yako ni gani? Kwa star 570 hash. Every 100 shillings unayotumia kwa Lucky Game inakupa 1 entry point ya kuingia kwenye drum ya draw ambayo inakupa fursa ya kujishindia moja kati ya shamba hizi mbili. Mwisho wa March namtangaza mshindi wa shamba hili la 1.1 million Kenyan shillings na unapata title deed yako safi. Na mwisho wa April namtangaza mshindi wa shamba hili la 1.1 million Kenyan shillings, lori za mawe na mchanga. Zote ndizo hizi. Dial star 570 hash. Title deed ndio hii. Buka na shake.
The most glamorous and extravagant annual fashion event, dubbed Tribal Chic 2024, celebrated their 13th anniversary. Tribal Chic 2024 was a sold-out event and a delightful treat for the fashion enthusiast, with perfect music and lighting that enhanced the whole experience. On Friday evening, the Century Cinemax 2 Rivers hosted an invites-only premiere for the movie The Color Purple. It is the second film adaptation of the novel, based on an epic novel, depicts the growing up and self-realization of an African-American woman between the years 1909 and 1947.
She say our mamas come from Queens over there.
A very good evening to you. Thank you for watching Prime Edition Time to get the latest in the world of business. My name is Betty Kiptum. Kenya plans to increase production of smartphones to 3 million devices annually. Information, Communication and the Digital Economy Cabinet Secretary Eliud Owalo says the local assembly plant has so far produced 194,000 units with a daily output of 4,500 units. He was speaking at the regional preparatory meeting for the upcoming World Telecommunications Standardization Assembly slated for October this year in New Delhi, India.
Kenya unveiled its first smartphone assembly plant in Nairobi last year to produce low-cost 4G-enabled devices priced at $50. The smartphone assembly plant is part of the government's digital transformation agenda. Information, Communication and the Digital Economy Cabinet Secretary says the target is to increase smartphone production volume to 3 million per year.
This is because in a proactive manner, we foresaw a situation where we may have a deficit in the market in terms of the number of Kenyans who have got access to smart-enabled telephones. So to facilitate universal connectivity, or meaningful connectivity for that matter, we envisage that at optimal capacity utilization levels, we should be able to churn out into the Kenyan market about 3 million handsets.
He says over 15,000 government services have been onboarded on the e-Citizen platform. 2,660 public Wi-Fi hotspots have been set up across the country. In addition, fiber optic connectivity is being expanded to unserved and underserved areas.
We speak over the past 1 year, we have managed to roll out a total of 8,419 kilometers against our target of 100,000 kilometers of fiber within the next 5 years.
The ICT experts noted that Kenya needs to keep up with global ICT and telecommunication standards to avoid becoming the dump yard of counterfeit and substandard equipment.
With a short lifespan associated with counterfeits, the threat of e-waste management will ultimately become real and catastrophic.
Key issue for Africa is that we are net consumers of standards. And so our challenge essentially is to ensure that the standards that the equipment that we bring here are those that meet our standards in terms of our communications needs.
They were speaking at the regional preparatory meeting for the upcoming World Telecommunication Standardization Assembly, slated for October this year in New Delhi, India. Weri Mujenga for Prime Edition.
Now, scrap metal collectors are required to acquire a certificate from their area chief before any transactions with licensed scrap metal businesses. Scrap Metal Council Chairperson Francis Mugo says this is part of efforts being taken to crack the whip on vandalism of transformers, roads and telecommunication infrastructure, including guardrails and street lampposts.
Scrap metal trade in Kenya employs over 2.4 million Kenyans, as hundreds of others benefit indirectly. However, its lucrative nature has been marked as an enabler of illicit trade involving vandalism and smuggling to neighboring countries, endangering critical transport and telecommunications infrastructure involving aluminium and copper commonly available in transformers, with Murang'a and Kiambu being the hotspots.
We are going through a very critical season in this country, when there has sprung up a people who do not want to respect the law, people who do not respect our critical infrastructure.
Vandalism in Murang'a has been on the rise, and particularly on that road of Murang'a, the highway, the Marua road that is currently ongoing. So we agreed with them and we gave them a month, that within that 1 month, if they are not going to make sure that vandalism goes down, if they are not going to buy anything that has been gotten from vandalism, we are going to introduce a moratorium in Murang'a.
The Scrap Metal Council chairperson says the available regulations seem to be doing little to regulate the vandalism of key infrastructure.
That even the chiefs themselves can visit the yards. For you to transport scrap metal within Murang'a, you need at least a recognition from the chief. The chief needs to know you. So we are going to employ various and different strategies. Each and every county, we are going to employ a strategy as per the challenges that are in that particular county.
The council is urging unlicensed dealers to adhere to the laid-out procedures, noting that despite thousands of dealers being involved in the trade, only 1,500 are duly registered.
We are on course to get everybody dealing in scrap and listed in the system. Application you make online. The license you get online. The fee you pay through e-Citizen. So you don't have to come to office.
The Scrap Metal Council has noted some loopholes in the legal framework and has rolled out the process of addressing it.
We are on course to amending the Scrap Metal Act. We are forwarded to Parliament. So we have done our part, and we believe in due course we will start the public participation.
Trevor Ngendo for Prime Edition.
Now, Transport Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen has this morning flagged off 15 new standard gauge railway wagons that are expected to help increase ferrying of cargo to hinterlands. Murkomen says an additional 250 wagons are expected to arrive in the country in the next 2 weeks from Tianjin in China.
The new 50 wagons, which arrived in January 2024, have been duly inspected by Kenya Railways engineers and certified for movement. Transport Cabinet Secretary officially was at the Port Rates Freight Station in Mombasa for flagging off the wagons.
The additional coaches are expected to support the high demand for SGR passenger services that saw an increased frequency with an addition of a night train service and a stop in Mboya.
Each of the new wagons has a capacity of at least 70 tons, enabling movement of heavy containerized cargo. Noting that 250 more wagons are expected this month, Murkomen said ferrying cargo via rail helps reduce damage of roads.
Transport is a key enabler of the aspiration set out in our country's long-term development blueprint, Vision 2030. My ministry therefore will ensure we have the requisite human capital, operational assets and information systems that are geared towards achieving this very important goal.
It will be also another game changer that we'll also be introducing the reefer wagons. So we will also be able to help our farmers who are doing export of flowers and fresh produce. That from Nairobi now to Mombasa, it will only about 5 to 6 hours.
Plans are also underway to ship in 20 Madaraka Express coaches, comprising 4 business class coaches, 3 first class coaches and 12 economy coaches and 1 power car.
What we have been doing is to increase our numbers in terms of the wagons, in terms of the coaches for passengers. We are also planning to increase the number of locomotives.
6 of them will have provisions for persons with disabilities. Murkomen says the volume of cargo transported via SGR increased by 7% from 6.09 million tons in 2022 to 6.53 million in 2023. Madaraka Express passengers increased by 12% from 2.39 million in 2022 to 2.73 million in 2023. Frederick Mwoki for Prime Edition.
And a comprehensive training targeting to equip the youth with key digital skills and expertise needed to thrive in the rapidly evolving digital landscape is underway in Nairobi. Ajira Digital Eastern Regional Director Dickens Okode says the training program will cover a wide range of areas such as social media management, digital marketing, content creation and online business development.
By leveraging the Ajira digital platform, the government aims to skill the youth to tap the immense work opportunities online. The strategic move is expected to not only enhance employment prospects for the youth, but also contribute to the growth of innovation.
We upskill the youth for online work readiness and also mentor them after they have been trained. We train, we mentor, and also we onboard them onto the online work platforms where they get these jobs.
Jobless youth were asked to enroll under the Ajira digital platform to benefit from the digital literacy program.
Kenya nezambia mavijana huku nje ni kwamba hizi ICT apps ambazo our able president anataka kujenga or rather ameanza kuinitiate ianze kujengwa, just go there, get trained and just click on the computer and then you get your dollars in your pocket.
Additionally, the government plans to facilitate mentorship opportunities and provide support for youth entrepreneurs who wish to start their digital businesses, further contributing to job creation and economic sustainability.
We also tap into the various training modules and courses that they have, that our young carpenters can be able to learn, our plumbers and all other blue-collar workers can be able to learn and be able to do their jobs effectively.
Frederick Mwoki for Prime Edition.
That is the business news this evening. Marakwet Express is standing by to give you the latest in sports. My name is Betty Kiptum. Good night.
你已经2天没好好睡觉了。
这些装置到现在本身也该做补偿修整了。
确实是，所以现在大部分工程师想暂停反映黑箱的工作，这是故障列表和代码。
就去抓他呀！你说所有跟他接触的人都自杀了，那是他杀的吗？
你证明不了，你没证据。
Haya, sisi ya kungoja kwenye star 570 hash kuna ploti na ni up to 1.1 million Kenyan shillings with a genuine title deed na inakungoja star 570 hash bukana shake.
These are the moments we live for every Friday as we catch up with the world of football.
Manchester City go in front.
With your favorite stars in rivalries like no other that keeps you on the edge of your seat. Learn a few tricks that keep you ahead of the game and spice it all with unforgettable moments on Dunda Dunda. On Saturday, you're in for another treat as we rock your weekend with all sporting disciplines, bringing you insights on what's happening behind the scenes as we share players and athlete stories, preparations, and celebrate their achievements.
Charging to the line! Is it going to be a world record? Yes, it is! She smashed it!
Whatever angle you look at, we've got you covered. KBC Channel 1. Your true sports partner.
A very good evening to you. I do hope you're holding up well. Let's now talk sports. My name is Karen Kibet. The national boxing team hit squad head coach Musa Benjamin is optimistic that the Kenyan team will register good results in the forthcoming All-Africa Games set for Ghana in March. The tactician said a good run in the All-Africa Games will place Kenya in a better place and improve their hopes of participating in this year's Olympics set for Paris, France later this year. The team will also take part in 2 Olympic qualifiers, with the first set to be held in Busto at Sisio, Italy, from the 29th of February to 12th March, while the second qualifier will be held from 23rd May to 3rd June in Bangkok, Thailand. Last weekend, the Boxing Federation of Kenya organized the Novices Championship, where Nairobi County were the overall winners with 24 points, as Prisons Boxing Club and Kisumu County took the 2nd and 3rd positions respectively. Embu County held the first ever netball tournament as a way of popularizing the game that has for long commanded little interest and reputation despite being recognized as a legitimate and competitive sport globally. The inaugural tournament held at the University of Embu grounds brought together young and old participants from different learning institutions, the county government, and local clubs from around the county. The participants hailed the initiative and called for support from the county government and other stakeholders to assist them hold more such tournaments to give them exposure and help sharpen their skills.
Katika Embu ya kaunti ya Embu kuna challenges za wasichana ku drop out of school, drug, etc. Tukianza hapa leo tunataka tushirikiane na waheshimiwa. Twende mashinani. Tucheze michezo pale na wasichana wale wengine tukawaongelesha. Ili tuone ya kwamba kama wasichana watasimama vizuri, wamaliza form 4 wasome na waendelee.
Pia tunataka kunacha talents kwa girl child. Wale wako katika JSS, wale wako katika secondary school, wale wa vocational training centers, na wale wako universities pia, na sisi wafanyakazi wa serikali. Pia kwa wamama, wale wako na fitness clubs, wote tuliwaita wakuja hapa tushirikiane pamoja tuweze kuendeleza hii mpira ya netball.
The 2023 Africa Cup of Nations enters the semi-final round on Wednesday, with all 4 teams still having a chance of advancing to the final. The Super Eagles of Nigeria face South Africa, with hosts Cote d'Ivoire taking on DRC Congo. The matches will be televised live on KBC Channel 1 and all KBC radio stations.
"24 teams started and only 4 remain. The pre-tournament favourites Nigeria are familiar with this stage, making their 16th appearance in the African Cup of Nations semi-final. Their waterweight defence has only conceded 1 goal in the tournament so far and is the only team to reach the semi-finals without playing in extra time.
It's run beautifully, like you said, the timing of the run.
South Africa will join them to complete the matchup, ending their 24-year absence from the African Cup of Nations semi-finals. The squad pulled off 2 big wins during the knockout stages, eliminating both the Atlas Lions of Morocco and the previously unbeaten Blue Sharks of Cape Verde.
Massive cheers!
Expect fireworks in the second game of the last 4 when DRC Congo and Cote d'Ivoire meet in the semis for the second time since the year 2015, that time won by the Elephants. It's been far from plain sailing for the host nation, though they faced elimination in the group stage after a 4-0 defeat to Equatorial Guinea, but have since bounced back, defeating reigning champions the Teranga Lions of Senegal in the round of 16. This will be DRC Congo's 5th appearance in the African Cup of Nations semi-finals, with history on their side, having won the Cup of Nations in the 1968 and 1974 when they eliminated the hosting country.
Superbly done! Directly taken from the free kick, and surely it's all over now.
It wasn't a fluke.
Moving on, MetLife Stadium in New Jersey will host the 2026 World Cup final scheduled for 19th July, while Azteca Stadium in Mexico City will stage the opening group game on 11th June. The draw for the World Cup is expected to take place towards the end of 2025.
Mexico is one of 3 countries co-hosting the expanded 48-team tournament alongside the United States of America and Canada. The 2026 World Cup will last a record of 39 days. Mexico has hosted 2 World Cups in the year 1970 and the year 1986, while the United States hosted in the year 1994. Canada are first-time hosts, and their opening game is in Toronto on 12th June. The United States will play their opening match at SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles also on 12th June. FIFA President Gianni Infantino, alongside comedian and actor Kevin Hart, rapper Drake and celebrity Kim Kardashian revealed that the third-place playoff match will take place in Miami. The quarterfinals onwards will be held in the United States cities, with Los Angeles, Kansas City, Miami and Boston hosting last 8 matches, while the semifinals will be in Dallas and Atlanta. Dallas will host a record 9 matches.
And those are all the sports stories we had for you tonight. My name is Karen Kibet. I'll see you tomorrow with more sports news. I now hand you back to my colleague Mboya for more.
Relax. Yes.
There you are. Welcome back. We had promised that we were having live in studio Professor Elijah Omwenga, who is the Vice Chancellor of the Open University of Kenya. Prof, I want to thank you really for joining us.
Thank you, Tom, for
Asante sana.
hosting me here.
Asante sana.
Thank you.
Now, I want us to start off by, you know, if you look at the past, there was, you know, the distant learning, which depended heavily on the postal system, students, you know, receiving reading materials from wherever, college, university out there, laboring through that material, you know, taking cards and sending them back through the same postal system. And of course, then the long wait begins. But today, that has evolved, and we are seeing a lot of these things being done at the click of the button. So, as the Vice Chancellor of the Open University of Kenya, tell us, walk us through what you think the public needs to know. What is Open University of Kenya? Why is it, you know, such a game changer?
Thank you so much, Tom, for having me in the studio. My name is Elijah Omwenga. I'm a professor of computer science. As I've already said, I'm the acting Vice Chancellor of the Open University of Kenya. And the university has got structures. We have the Chancellor, Dr. James Mwangi, and the Chairman of Council, Professor Ezra Maritim, with his team. Now, the question you asked is a very important one for this show. Distance learning has been around for many years, decades and decades. In this country, the Kikuyu campus of the University of Nairobi hosted distance learning in the country, and several of our Kenyans within and outside the country went through that program. Yes, as you rightly put it, the history tells us that the days when materials were being prepared and sent by post, and a long wait for results or assignment to be done and responses given. That tended to demotivate learners and also increase the period within which they graduate or finish their programs. But we have transitioned from that period. Now we are talking about online learning, or e-learning, as you may want to call it, or as others want to say, University Mkononi, or learning on your smartphone. In the pocket. So that now we are leveraging technology, which helps us not only to enable access of our high quality programs, but also to help us in developing quality state-of-the-art materials or programs or content for delivery. Interactive content is critical in terms of enabling the learner to reduce the curve of mastery of the content, because then you have motivated learners. You walk the journey with this learner using various educational assets or techniques which are already in the market out there, pedagogically sound techniques to ensure that effective learning takes place using technology. So we have transitioned from the era of post to now using technology, which reduces the curve and the period within which the learners are able to access and get feedback from the lecturers or their tutors.
Okay.
Yes.
One of the goals, of course, for a university like yours, an open university, is to provide Kenyans with, you know, access to higher learning. I think you got the charter sometime last year.
Yes, August.
In August, isn't it?
Yes.
So what's the status of that university to date?
Yeah, thank you, Tom, for that very good question. The university, the Open University of Kenya, was chartered on the 3rd of August 2023, last year, by His Excellency the President, in a very colorful ceremony at Konza Technopolis, the seat of the university. And the university eschews the tenets of openness. Openness here is in terms of the criteria used for admission. You may realize that in Kenya today, the admission criteria cuts off at C+. But the Open University now has opened opportunities for many students, and that is the second tenet of openness, which is inclusivity. So that you have students from all walks of life or potential learners coming to the university based on their prior learning or experience on the job besides their academic qualifications. And the third, of course, is access. Access because you're using technology to enable as many as possible to access the content. And affordability. The university, Open University of Kenya, is also an affordable university, charging a moderate or even a quarter to 1/3 of what the conventional universities are charging. At the moment, the university was chartered just last year. We embarked on a very ambitious journey to develop the various instruments to establish the university. The policies, the guidelines, the technology required, the ERP Enterprise Resource Planning System that hosts the learning materials which had been developed, which we continue to improve. That was quite a very serious exercise. And all the other structures that are required for a university to thrive. And I'm glad to say that within the short period of time, the university opened its doors to students in November 30th of last year. And now we have a strong, about 900 students in class learning. We are offering 7 flagship programs. Out of the 1,940 students who applied to come to the university, and these are already enrolled, the bona fide students of the university, being tutored or taken through the programs that we have developed using highly qualified staff. So the journey for establishing a university is generally very
good.
It's very long, but the Open University of Kenya has kind of cut that long journey into a very small fraction thanks to the support we are getting from the government and the council and a very dedicated staff who are ready to go an extra mile to do what is required of us in order to establish the university and set it on good footing within a short period of time.
And just for the sake of some viewers, you see the cutoff points into the traditional university, I think, is a C+.
A C+.
So what you're saying is somebody with a C-,
yes,
somebody with a C+, somebody with a D.
Yes.
The Open University of Kenya can grant them admission.
Yes, and we have, thank you for that very important question. The university has established an admission criteria that is flexible, recognizing that flexibility and inclusivity, which is part of our constitutional process. And the criteria is such that if you didn't get the cutoff of
The
C+,
C+,
but you have over time filled the gap, the knowledge gap required for a program, such as workplace experience or a short course that you may have engaged in since your last KCSE or any other qualification, or experience which is spanning a period of about 3 months, sometimes even longer, and is relevant to the program of interest, then you can be considered and given admission to join the Open University. This is in recognition of prior learning. Prior learning is one of those liberating issues that has happened in the world today, even recognized by SDGs and other international bodies, that once a student has done an exam and didn't perform to the expectations requiring direct entry to the university, and that student or that learner has over time mastered the content which is required to enable the student go through the rigors of that degree program, then that must be recognized. Think about a Juakali person who scored a C- and is able to mold, or rather make excellent Jokali items using the knowledge he or she has acquired over time, and even the experience and kind of entrepreneurial experience that one has mastered over time. And that particular person has now the opportunity to come to the university and make it formal. We recognize that experience, especially if that student has some form of qualification to show that you have gone through some short program over time.
Okay, well, and it's good to hear that. Of course, there's been, there's this constant debate that certain courses, and I know that you have your flagship courses, I know you'll mention a little later on, are not tailored to the market needs. So in terms of efficacy and relevance, I just want to know what the Open University of Kenya is doing to produce fit-for-purpose graduates. Because we are seeing a lot of some people feel that we are heavy consumers of knowledge. Others feel we need now to be focused on producing emerging knowledge, etc., etc. So what are you doing, as a university to produce fit-for-purpose graduates?
Thank you, Tom, for that question. The fit-for-purpose graduate starts from the time of development or identification of the programs. A program is a set of courses that one follows in order to graduate with a certain set of credentials, such as a degree program, a postgraduate, master's, or PhD. So at the time of identification of the programs that the university wants to develop, you have to do a market survey. What is it that the country needs? What do the young people, for example, need in order to help them be highly skilled and useful to the society?
How aligned?
Exactly. How aligned
are those courses?
Are the courses with the market, the industry, and the job market, or even self-employment? We just don't look at employment, but also self-employment. Secondly, we look at the quality of these programs by developing them to the highest standards that we can afford. Good programs are those that are interactive in nature when they are offered the student. They are available on the multiple platforms and capabilities that we are able to marshal. And quality programs enable the student to go through the content at own pace and even repetitively. And also use various assets, we call them educational assets, or various types of objects to develop this content, so that the student is able to pick the knowledge within a period that is not too long. And also the assessment. We do what we call authentic assessment. Authentic assessment enables us to assess the mastery of knowledge by testing the knowledge the student has gained using a multiplicity of methods, so that it's not just filling a question and answering yes, no. We want to have case studies where the student is able to produce cases of the knowledge that you have gained. We want to test your discussion forum through e-portfolios. E-portfolios is a record of what the student has done over time, and using that record you're able to gauge the mastery of content of this particular learner. That's authentic assessment, away from the so-called classical question and answer where you get it right or wrong and you leave it there. But here you are testing the deeper understanding, the deeper meaning of the content that you are giving the student.
And by the way, as we wind up, do these students have, do they get scholarships, for example?
Scholarships, well, right now,
as we wind up,
scholarships could be available. But at the moment, we are amassing our partnerships and collaborations so that once we have partners with us, then students will be able to access these scholarships. But the Higher Education Loans Board and the Funding Board, both of them are supporting our students. If your student has been admitted and he or she applies for a loan, that student will be given a loan, he qualifies. If he or she applies for higher education fund and you meet the mean testing instrument criteria, that student will be given an opportunity. But you asked me something about the flagship programs. Maybe I can touch on that very briefly. Yes, our flagship programs include data science, a very important program that has attracted the highest number of students because we are producing a lot of data right now in the country and beyond, and we need to make meaning out of that data.
So data science,
monetize. There is cybersecurity because there is entrepreneurship and business, economics and statistics. And statistics, Bachelor of Technology Education, postgraduate diploma in learning, design and technology, and postgraduate diploma in leadership and accountability. Yet another very exciting program.
Exciting one. I want to thank you. You know, we need more time to discuss. We can exhaust it in 10-15 minutes, but I want to thank you most profoundly, Professor Elijah Omwenga, the Vice Chancellor of the Open University of Kenya. He made time to be with us on the day that King Charles was diagnosed with cancer, and those are reports that are coming through from the Buckingham Palace. Of course, the king, we are made to understand, remains wholly positive about his treatment, which began Monday, that's today, at the Buckingham Palace. So on behalf of the team in the back end, I want to thank you so much for watching Prime Edition. Remember, tomorrow, same time, same place, I will be back. Good night. My name is Mboya. Bye-bye.
Yako ni gani? Kwa star 570 hash. Every 100 shillings unayotumia kwa Lucky Game inakupa 1 entry point ya kuingia kwenye drum ya draw ambayo inakupa fursa ya kujishindia moja kati ya shamba hizi mbili. Mwisho wa March namtangaza mshindi wa shamba hili la 1.1 million Kenyan shillings na unapata title deed yako safi. Na mwisho wa April namtangaza mshindi wa shamba hili la 1.1 million Kenyan shillings, lori za mawe na mchanga. Zote ndizo hizi. Dial star 570 hash. Title deed ndio hii. Fuka na shake.
KBC Channel 1 brings you exclusive coverage of the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations. From Saturday 13th January to Sunday 11th February 2024, Cote d'Ivoire is the battleground for 24 teams fighting to lift the prestigious trophy. Who will be crowned kings of the African football? Watch all the action and revel only on KBC Channel 1, your true sports partner.
right, good people of the 254 and beyond. It is the first Monday of the month of love. That is the month of February. How are you feeling? Welcome to the show.
Hello.
You're finally back.
For real, I'm back.
How you doing?
Yo, man, I'm good. Month of love to Koapa. We're just here to show some love, good vibes, high frequency, good energy. Kama kawaida, Miss V. Yeah.
Men's conference imepangwa ama bado?
Tunaienda.
Oh, utaenda men's conference.
Not really. Umejua mimi niko mtu wangu. So
good thing, man. Good thing.
But I hope we're windy.
Say no to men's conference.
Okay. So we're going to Valentine.
Well, we're going to be seeing. We will see. We will find out. Anyway, we hope that all of you are doing all right. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is where you get to know what has been happening in the world of events over the weekend, and we will not fail you at no point because we have a packed up show just for you. My name is Vivian Dago. You can simply just call me Miss V.
Jacques Muller, the partydaddy.co.ke, aka your girlfriend, got my website.
And you know what this right here is?
Grapevine, baby.
What you gotta do?
All right, as usual, we are kicking off the show on a high with a fashion event that happened over the weekend dubbed Tribal Chic 2024, man. These guys were celebrating their 13th year anniversary, and it was a sold-out event. Let's check it out.
The most glamorous and extravagant annual fashion event, dubbed Tribal Chic 2024, celebrated their 13th anniversary. An event which was aimed at recognizing and appreciating fashion also featured an impressive lineup of both local and international designers. This year's theme being African royalty, the celebration of our people, our history, our culture and our communities was printed loud on the runway as a pool of models took the lead to show off conscious pieces made from the talented designers, which was aimed at telling the captivating story of Africa. The models graced the catwalk in an array of ensembles, each more captivating than the last. The designers had clearly put in a lot of effort to create pieces that were not only beautiful but also innovative. The use of bold